Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Public Safety Committee meeting. This is April the 13th, 2021. We're starting at 5 p.m. Tonight, we have one ordinance before us, that's CPO 2021-24, an ordinance amending the Civil Rights Ordinance number 6269, sponsored by Councilwoman Linda Barnes Cardwell. On the meeting tonight, we have Councilwoman Ty Atkins, our Vice President and Councilwoman of the 4th District. We also have Cozy Witherspoon, Councilman of the 2nd District. We have our Council Attorney Renzo Williams, and I am Councilman Ron Brewer, your Councilman at Large for the City of Gary. Our Councilwoman Linda Barnes Cardwell will be joining us shortly. I see Hanifa is on with us this evening. Good to have you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Councilmen, councilwomen, thank you all so much for having me tonight.
All right. So I take it as you're going to be on to do some overview for us on this ordinance here?
Yes, absolutely. And with your permission, I can go into the discussion on what I intend to do here with this amendment.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, upon being appointed to be the director at the Gary Human Relations Commission, I set a goal to expand the Civil Rights Ordinance protection so that the Gary Human Relations Commission could take in as many cases as possible. As you may or may not know, we are funded from our case processing. And so the more that we're able to bring in, we're serving the community, but we're also funding our own projects and things like that. And so one of the major changes that we're putting towards the ordinance is adding age as a protected class. Previously, we were not able to process age cases with respect to employment. So just a little bit more detail here with respect to the changes. The first change is age being added to employment, labor organizations, training, hiring, public accommodations, and public accommodations protections against discrimination. So as I stated, this age was not previously protected, it wasn't in the other versions of the ordinance. Now we can add it to the housing practices and other things at this time, but we can protect individuals with respect to their age. The second change is occurring in section 2696, which has already been authorized by us to accept complaints that are transferred to us from the federal government, but the amendment just further clarifies that this includes the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is the EEOC, and the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, and that said complaints are not limited to complaints within the Gary city limits. So basically, any case that within its jurisdiction, the EEOC or the Department of Housing and Urban Development decides to transfer to us, we can accept the case, process it as we would any other case. So again, just expanding, our ability to serve the community and process, cases, and also get the case processing funds from having conducted those investigations.
Okay. So the biggest change that we're adding is just the age. We adding.
Yes. So we will be able to intake cases. Someone should come into, to the commission or need help. They believe they've been discriminated against based on their age. With respect to employment, like I said, labor organizations, training, hiring, any of these things, basically from the start of employment, even before they start the job, even in the hiring process, it protects them. We don't have to send those cases off to somewhere else we can process those cases right here in the city of Gary.
Okay, sounds good. We are joined by Councilwoman of the 5th District, Linda Barnes Caldwell, who is the sponsor of this ordinance, CPO 2021-24. Councilwoman Caldwell, we have had the overview. Ms. Hanifa has given us some details about the age requirement that's being changed here. You want to add anything to this at this time? You're muted at this. You're muted. You're muted, Councilwoman.
Good evening. I'm just excited that she was able to go ahead and get those amendments taken care of and that we can move forward.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Councilwoman.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Always willing to help. Yes.
Okay. Is there any other councilperson, I'm sorry, that have any questions at this time?
Councilman Brewer.
Councilman Witherspoon, good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, how are you doing, Ms. Khalif? How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, Councilman. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Good.
Listen, I love what you're doing. It sounds like what you're doing also is echoing Title VII. Are we covering all the other points with your law or what you're trying to do as the same with Title VII, which denies discrimination, of course, and so far as color and religion? Are we covered in all those other areas as well?
Yes, so I'm happy to share with you that our civil rights ordinance really is quite comprehensive. I mean, we're covering, excuse me, race, color, sex, religion, disability, you name it, it's in there. And so we're really ahead of the game with respect to the protected classes and doing quite well with that. So yes, all of that's in there. We're just adding on age and additionally adding a clause in there that just says whatever case the EEOC and HUD decide to give us, we can take, as long as it's within the rules, regulations, and the jurisdiction of the entities.
And one other thing that I would ask you to look into also, one thing that Title VII does not cover, it does not cover the transgender community and people that may be discriminated because of their sexuality and things of that nature. So I would ask you to also look into that, because many people have been, discriminated against in housing and employment because of those factors as well.
Well, Councilman Witherspoon, I'm happy to share with you that I think it was a couple years ago now that we did add sexual orientation and gender identity protection to our ordinance, and we were successful with doing that. So we're already protecting these individuals to a certain degree that come into our community, whether they are residents or guests.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Any other councilperson like to have any comments? Mr. Poe, how you doing this evening? Like you want to say something to us?
I just wanted to also piggyback off of what Ms. Khalif had pointed out. That was actually in 2019 we did at the direction of Ms. Khalif, who is the director of the Human Relations Commission. We've amended the Civil Rights Ordinance twice now. I think she's very forward thinking, and I think she's a very good leader in that department. So it's great to hear a suggestion that's already been taken care of. So
Yes.
Well, I'd just like to add, Attorney Pohl, I couldn't have, obviously done any of these amendments without your help with, organizing the language and whatnot. So hands down and kudos to you as well. So thank you. Thank everybody for making it possible. We all work together in this. It's not just one person. So thank you.
Is there anyone else? Is there anyone from the public like to speak? Okay, not saying anything else. Thank you. We will take this up on third and final on April 20th, 2021 at 6 p.m. We'll move it forward for third and final. At this time, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Thank everyone for participating. We have another meeting starting at 5:30. That'll be our Ways and Means Committee meeting that will start next. And I'll see you all at my next meeting at 6 p.m. All right, have a good night.
Thank you.